Hello, everybody. Little person's checking in, so we wait for a few more seconds. So I just got a sign that most of the participants should have been checked in by now. And so we are mostly on time, being 1 minute late. And warm welcome from our side to this webinar. Maybe someone give me a sign that I can be heard very well. Aart or Jaap, thumbs up. Thank you very much. So, warm welcome to you, to the audience. This is a webinar that will be hosted by me, by myself, and it's going to be in English. And we have numerous participants from many countries, so about 10 European countries plus North America. And welcome to our webinar today. The webinar will follow in a two-step approach. So first there will be an introduction, then we have two content parts by two presenters that I will introduce shortly. And after both content parts, there will be some headroom for questions left. And so for today, let me introduce our speakers for today. Myself, my name is Ingo. I'm a partner manager at Ibexa, located in Cologne, Ibexa being part of the Quantum Group. And today I have with me two speakers, one from Quable, it's Aart, an international account executive, and the other one being from Raptor, Jaap, as a commercial director from the Netherlands. And we hope that we can deliver some information to you and enlighten you today in the webinar, where the focus is on two new members of the Ibexa family, Quable and Raptor. So where do we come from? Just a short introduction to get us all aligned. We know that the digital experience space itself is a nightmare to navigate, especially for marketers looking for the right solutions for their specific business problems. That's clear. And to underline that, some of you might know that. For those who don't, this is a source by Martech map by Chief Martech, and shows the numerous developments and the increasing number of Martech solutions that are there for the marketing landscape. And of course, this is a nightmare to navigate through. So this puts challenges on you, on the customers, and especially on the marketing teams. The challenge is to navigate, to find the fit-for-purpose solutions that you need. On the one hand, have a standardization. On the other hand, have some specific capabilities that you need to deliver your services and products to the market. And of course, this is a real challenge. From Ibexa for a long time, we have been striving to the sweet spot between being a modular DXP, which we practice for quite some years now, and on the one hand, addressing the need for standardization of modular composable business solutions that you can use that are more suite-like, but not a suite, being more modular, being flexible and integrating well with your existing marketing landscape. And on the other hand, there's a need for specialist solutions where the demand is specific and you have the chance to use individual business components or go even by handmade solutions. And this, of course, creates complexity. And our goal is to exactly hit the sweet spot in between those tendencies. And we see a convergence here in the market too. From an Ibexa standpoint, there's not only a composable DXP that is required, but also there are complementary services that our customers looking for is from this kind of specialist side where we have vertical SaaS solutions. And these solutions also need to be offered to the market, especially in the area where we will talk about now in the next 50 minutes, in the area of PIM and DAM, and in the area of customer data platform. For Ibexa, it's clear to have a clear value proposition, to have, on the one hand, a real cohesive marketing platform where marketers have unified interfaces. But the challenge is to go to market quickly, to have an acceleration. And for this, you need a DXP. And we found out in many, not just market trends, but also discussions with our partners and our customers, that a strong experience platform must come together with a strong PIM solution. And on the other hand, that a real strong DXP cannot be thought without customer data being processed very well and being used at its core in order to develop hyper-personalization approaches that the market is demanding. So this brings us to the two new members of the Ibexa family inside Quantum. Raptor being a mature technology for the customer data platform approach, and Quable being a very mature solution, both from the SaaS side of the equation, addressing special needs for the customers. And this enables marketing teams and editors to really have unified customer segmentation, that we can deliver seamless content and support this hyper-personalization approaches, and most and foremost have 360 degrees views across all the touch points. On the other hand, you have integration teams that are looking at the architecture and the landscape. And of course, there are, between those SaaS solutions, we have premium connectors, and the data will be synchronized, as well as that we are striving towards a unified data architecture. Having said this, we would like to outline how, with two complementary SaaS solution specialists that are complementary to what a strong DXP already brings, how to build new digital experience champions on the customer side, on your side. And we will start with a 25-minute presentation by Aart from our partner Quable, followed by a presentation from Jaap from our partner Raptor, and you will have some room in the end to ask the question. So Aart, your show, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ingo, for the introduction. Yeah, like you mentioned, digital experience are crafted by DXP, and PIM is a really specialized tool that powers the data backbone thereof, even of the CDP as well, but Jaap will elaborate on that much further. But yeah, thank you for the introduction, and to all the registrants, thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege for me to represent Quable today and to entertain you a bit and hopefully educate you a bit about a PIM. And great that a PIM works beautifully together with a DXP to enhance both operational efficiency and your customers' satisfaction. So yeah, I always start with our main promise: upgrade your business everywhere with Quable. A PIM is not only for DXP, as you will see later on. We have a bit wider scope, maybe, than only one channel that is a DXP. And we have, I think, a quite in-depth approach to the organization of you and of your customers in their internal teams. So it's really an everywhere beneficial tool in every business. A few words about Quable. I really wanted to show this slide because it's not just the next nice startup that was acquired by Ibexa. We are a very mature tool originated from France. And we think it was a bit underrepresented in the rest of the world. So I think our owners or C-level teams met each other last year, and out of that, a beautiful business plans and a beautiful merger was planned. Quable has more than 300 brands onboarded in the tool. We have more than 20,000 users working every day in our PIM. Yeah, we are financially very healthy and have a self-financed annual growth. So we are a quite healthy company. More than 50 Quablers and more than 100 experts in our network of partners. We have a partner-only approach, and that network is quickly expanding, to be honest. And the basic thoughts to develop a PIM by our founders was based on a bit of frustrations about having a central repository for product information for them to get it in from different systems, to have a really nice workflow and a really nice interface to work with it, and to distribute it to all the channels that can exist in your business. So based on that, in 2013 already, they created a SaaS PIM from the very conception. It was always be a SaaS. So I think we are very mature tool, and I'm honored to give you a nice look and feel a demo in a few minutes. So yeah, what's the concept of a PIM? I think the concept of a PIM in your digital landscape is quite good represented by this simple image. I think you have on the left side, you have databases, for example, your ERP or your warehouse management system or your point of sale system, where maybe bits of product information are stored. Then you have files, for example, we see a lot of Excel files with lots of columns with product information, with translations, with all kinds of information. Then we have assets like videos and photos. And of course, we have data that's coming in from suppliers. If you're a distributor or maybe a B2C retailer, you have a lot of data coming in from your different suppliers that you need to somehow work with into your own systems to use it in your channels in the end. So a lot of data. Really in the center, there is a tool that gives you a right overview of the data quality. It gives you the opportunity to structure it in a beautiful way, to build workflows, to let your information travel through different stages of enrichment to make it ready for the right part. And it, like I mentioned before, that can be much more than only a DXP. Of course, our focus in this session is on PIM for the DXP. But what we see is besides e-commerce, websites, DXP, we have marketplaces that get fed by our PIM. We have mobile apps. We have tools for customer care. We have points of sales in physical stores that we feed with our product information. Not to overlook print, catalogs, and brochures. PIM is a very helpful tool to generate PDF templates for brochures, for catalogs, to connect it even with InDesign, for example. And last but not least, to provide very tailored sets of data to distributors and resellers. Of course, you can imagine that you can have like 10,000 of products into your PIM, and one of your distributors needs like the half of it in their own format. And a PIM is a very helpful tool in building that kind of export templates to provide your distributors with all the information they need. So we tend to be all-in-one PIM as a starting point for your omni-channel commerce. And I think our product consists of 4 parts. First, a PIM, your single shared repository for your products for all your channels. Then we have our DAM. So it's the asset manager for your internal organization as well, but as well as for your external organization to store in a beautiful way all your data, all your assets, so that you never get Google Drives or external disks anymore. Then we have a brand portal. It's like a website to showcase and showroom your products, maybe for your internal organization, for colleagues that are not in the PIM, but they need product information, or for your distributors or B2C channel to download all your most accurate and actual data. So you never miss, or they never have a wrong asset or the wrong information. They have always the newest information. And then we have our Quable App Store. We are a SaaS, and we can very easily link to all systems that you can imagine, from ERP to e-commerce and everything in between. So that's our product. I want to jump into the demo. I think I can take over the sharing of the screen from you.
Yes, you may, Art. Thank you very much so far.
Thank you.
There are already some questions that have been dropped via the chat. So everyone who would like to also ask questions via the chat function, again, please do that. But we will come then to them in the FAQ session.
So yeah, welcome to Quable. You see the screen? Yeah, thanks. So when we enter Quable, this is the first screen you see. It's our dashboarding. It's our your personal homepage, and depending on your role or your right, you can see different things here. For example, if you are a product manager, you may see other things than when you are a translator, for example. And this is fully dynamical. And not only the layout is dynamical, but of course the content of this chart is always real time. For example, these are my newest products, but when the ERP does his nightly import to the PIM, I have here, of course, my newest products. And since the PIM is your tool to get a grip and a real overview on the quality of your data, of course, dashboarding is something that's very important. Here I have, for example, a data quality measurements, and when I hover over it, I can immediately see in my skincare or in my perfumes that here is descriptions missing, a marketing claim is missing, the merchandising plan, and when I click on it, I can immediately see what products are missing those attributes or those fields. So this is my data quality inside the system. Here I can see for one of my channels, the brand portal, I can see how the quality is. So it's mostly complete. For skincare, for my brand portal, only one product is not complete, and I can jump right into it. If it's important to share this with one of my colleagues, I can very easily share it to one of my colleagues, and the moment he logs into his system, he will see this graph on his dashboard as well. I can build multiple new dashboards. Every user can do it by themselves to give you the overview of the products that you need. So when I go one step further, here I have very simple taxonomy or classification of my products. It's a very easy, very basic demo with just 2 layers of classification, and inside it I can see all the products, and when I'm on the overview page, I can already see a lot of information about the data quality. So here, for example, I can see the name, a thumbnail, in which stage of the workflow it is. There are some tags already to highlight some of the things that are important for me. So description missing, purchase info missing, for example, a 52% completeness for e-commerce, a 62% completeness for Amazon. It gives me an immediate view on the status and the stage of enrichment of my products. So when I go into one of the products, let me find it. I think it's a good example. Phyto Rouge lipstick, maybe. Yep. So here I am in my Phyto Rouge lipstick, and this is the document sheet. That's really the heart of the enrichment of the PIM. Yeah, here this is the document sheet, which is fully customizable by yourself. So you can make all the tabs, all the sections. You can make it up by yourself, how you want to organize it. And this consists all the attributes that have pieces of information of my product. And here I organized it in general information, in marketing information, in some things that are specific for the web. And I even added some validation steps to it so that I can really easy navigate to all the hundreds of attributes that I might have. I can very easily filter down to one of the fields if I know what the name is. And I can fill in the values that are necessary. What's very cool in Quable is that we have our generative AI under the hood. So everywhere the magic wand icon is shown, I can generate AI-based text. I don't have time to cover it now, but we have prompts in the back end, or you can even craft your own prompts to build it. But in this case, I've based it on the product description and on the images, and I let the AI generate a text for me. It's spinning for a few seconds. And it must be here any moment now. It generates a beautiful product description where I can do all the editing, HTML editing that send the HTML immediately to the channels you need it, so I can make it up with all editing that I need. I can even edit plain HTML, and the cool thing is that I can translate it immediately. So here it is translated already in a few languages. Let me see, Dutch is empty. I click on auto translate, and in 1 second it's translated into my target languages. So here I have Dutch Netherlands and Dutch Belgium. I validate it and I save it, and it is in my system. There are more ways to handle translations, but it goes too far for now. But this is just in the enrichment workflow, a way of doing it. So very important to show the sidebar. So here I'm in an attribute set. To explain it very plainly, it is a set of attributes that are applicable to this product, and I'm now in the makeup or in the skincare. But if it's a perfume or it's a sun care, I get other fields to fill in to keep all the distractions away. We don't want all the hundreds of fields. We want only the fields to be shown on the product that are relevant for the person who works on it. So second thing is the workflow. We can build very nice workflows in Quable to really let your product travel from maybe the ERP that creates the product to the product manager that fills in the technical data, to the marketeer that fills in the marketing information, to the translation, and then send it back to the product manager for the final check. And then we come to the point that it gets to a sudden completeness for one of your channels. So one of the most important things I think of a PIM is the completeness, because you want to know if your data is complete based on the requirements you put in the data model. for your channels. Here I see my e-commerce is only 85% complete, and when I click on it, all fields are filtered that are not relevant are filtered down, and I get a green mark where I need to fill in information. Here I'm missing ingredients, so let me I'll make something up. It's now 85%. It's still 85 because it's only in one translation. Maybe not the best example. Here in my supply tab, I'm missing the length and I'm missing a wave. And you see by filling it in, it jumps immediately to a 90%. And I'm missing an asset somewhere. So here I need to add a second video to reach my 100% completeness. Then we have some tags. I can highlight some things that are important for me in my data model. For example, I want to make sure that a merchandising plan is always available. Then I can build a tag to highlight it to my colleagues. And when it's missing, it's showing up. And as soon as it's filled in, it will disappear. Second thing about the document page is, of course, assets are very important. Here I have a few assets to this product. I can very easily reorder them. For example, if I want this to be my main image, it's immediately changed. And on every asset, I can have attributes just like on all the documents and on the products. So it can, for example, be example to have an author, a view type, for example, a pack shot, a front, a side shot, or a 360. The status, that it's published, yes or no. Is it for retailers in my channels? Whom of my retailers can get this image, yes or no? A description, something for Shopify. Background removed to send it to a workflow to remove a background, to give it credits. So I can do any attribute I can add to my assets as well, just like on my documents. Here I can see where it's linked to, because an image can be linked to multiple products. I can load it in different formats. That's one of the DEM functionalities. You have only to upload your high definition or your high resolution image, and then I can download it in every resize or crop that I defined. The DEM will take care of it to all the transformations, and I can download all the assets that I need in the formats that I need. Then we have related documents. A product never stands on his own. You want to add, for example, cross-sell products that you want to link on your storefront to it because they are related, or they are in a family, or they are maybe a nice upsell. We can link ingredients, for example, if we need it for our distributors, we can very easily add ingredients that I have in my system. And it can be part of a range. And in this case, my Vito Rouge is part of a gamma. So that's a range of products. And then I can, on the range, I can enrich the marketing information of the range. And I link all the products to it. And when I send the range to my channel, all the linked products will be exported with it automatically without the need to duplicate all the range information to the product. So that's very straightforward. So yeah, the last that I want to show you in this very high over look and feel demo is our advanced search. I think a functionality that is very powerful in a PIM, and that's often missing in your e-commerce from back end, or maybe in your ERP. That's really the mass editing functionality. So here I can filter down beautifully in my products. Here I want, I think, maybe products from my classification makeup. I want to filter it on the state for Amazon. It is incomplete. And I want it to have maybe an end date different from today. Just you can on every attribute in the PIM you can select down so it goes endless. So here I have an advanced search, and if I want, I can edit all these products in one go. So maybe I want to empty the value of the discount, and I want to give it a new end date for a marketing campaign end of this month. I will save it, and immediately it is processed. And here in my view, I can add all the columns that I need to the view that I like. I can add it. And from this space, I can send it to, for example, to my translation project. I can send it and download it to my distributors. I can send it to maybe other workflow tools or tools that do things like clipping or removing backgrounds. From the advanced search is really your powerful toolbox to send it to your whole integration system. So I'm at 24 minutes 15. So I think I finished my look and feel demo here. And if you have questions, feel free to drop them. Ingo is in charge of answering them or at the end of the session. So thank you for your attention, and I give it to Ingo or Jaap, I guess. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Aart. Very impressive, I think, to have a quick glance on those PIM capabilities, which we know from a lot of discussions sometimes can be very special and very demanding, what a PIM has to do. And there are already some questions, I can assure you. So in the end, please be prepared. And I would hand over to Jaap to see how a second SaaS application specialized on personalization can boost businesses.
Yeah, thanks, Ingo. Maybe a quick thumbs or a heads up if you can see my screen and if you can hear me loud and clearly. Yeah, that is great. Ingo, thanks for the introduction. Aart, thanks for learning me a lot about PIM systems and lipsticks in general, I would say. I'm going to tell you a bit more about personalization, how we actually bring that data to life. And I see on this slide, we say create highly personalized omnichannel user experiences that engage and convert. That is a lot of words. Today, I will try to make it as concrete and simple to understand as possible. But bear with me, we only have 20-ish minutes, so some things will be quite high over. And for any details or questions, we will come back to you later, or we can always supply the presentation. I will skip the intro slide as Ingo already gave a good introduction. So a quick agenda for today. I will give you some insights, a general introduction in the Raptor personalization platform. Then we'll talk about personalization and CDP. Those are tightly connected to each other, but there's also possibilities to start personalization without a full CDP in place. Then I will show you some use cases and examples of things that we are doing for our customers. And then Ingo will take over for the quick recap and Q&A. So Raptor, we have been building our personalization platform, as we call it, since 2009. I think at that time, nobody ever spoke about AI, machine learning, and we were already developing product recommendation software for the Danish eBay. That was quite far at that time. Basically, people would go to eBay, look at an aquarium as an example, come back a week later, and then we would show them the related plants or the rocks or fish that you want to put into an aquarium. And this is what we call website recommendation. For this slide, I just want to mention that the Raptor personalization platform is not a suite. It's more or less a bundle of different solutions that will all add value to your personalization journey. That means that you can start in modules. You don't have to buy the full suite. So you can basically start small, start with, for example, website recommendation, with site search, and grow into the customer data platform. And I think maybe the biggest upside on that is that you within your organization can start small with personalization, celebrate successes, and then expand to maybe hyper personalization a bit later on, and also make sure that the ROI out of our solution is really good. Well, we've been doing that since 2009, basically both in B2C and B2B, where we have a lot of brands joining the Raptor platform. Our solutions, must say, work really well into companies that sell a lot of products, can be via e-commerce, especially in omnichannel settings. The more complex, the better it gets for us. So that means that we can also handle a lot of use cases within the B2B space, where you have individual assortments, individual prices, a lot of products, and this is something that we can cope with in a perfect way. I think that some of the USPs always good to drop within personalization. One of them is that you can actually hyper personalize, basically on a one-to-one scale. We have a lot of insights in customer lifetime value modeling. We have a big engine within the CDP, which we call the data manager. That sounds a bit boring, but to be honest, that's the thing that drives the CDP. So in what way are we capable of ingesting all your customer data and transform that into valuable insights? We have built it for the marketeers and the commercial people, so it's extremely user-friendly. You don't have to be a data analyst to work in our CDP. We're basically technology agnostic, so we can have a central space within your tech stack, your current tech stack, but also maybe your tech stack towards the future. And we're completely MAC compliant. Well, why would you personalize? Basically, I think that most of you will know that personalization, showing relevant content, showing relevant products to a specific individual or to a segment, will add a lot of value. But also the automation part is extremely important. If you don't have to manually tell your systems which products to show to what specific consumer, that will save you a lot of time. It typically increases your conversion rates, order values, and in the end, it will also create a 360 customer view. And if you deliver this relevant content and if you show relevant products to your consumers, then this will also drive loyalty as one example. Well, what we basically do is what we see happening at a lot of companies, both in B2C and B2B, is that they deliver a generic message to all of you. So basically saying, hey, Jaap, it's sale. That same message goes to Ingo. That same message goes to Aart. And then you click on a page and you land in a landing page where you show 1,000 products, which are not available in my size, not my favorite brand, not my favorite color. And if you can personalize that, saying, hey, Jaap, this is your top 5 products, which match your data, which match your behavior, then the likelihood that I will buy something and come back again will be way bigger. And therefore, we can fully personalize the whole journey, saying we can show relevant ads, we can show relevant web recommendations, we can show content and products in email based on your personal profile. Well, this all sounds, of course, really good, but quite high over. So how does it actually work? This is not the most beautiful slide you will ever see, but I think it's good because it kind of covers what the CDP does. On the left-hand side, we basically show all your data within your organization. So this can be, for example, the website tracking data, but this can also be the purchasing data coming from your customers, historical data, maybe data coming out of loyalty systems. We take all that data, we put that into the CDP, and therefore we unify it, and we make sure that we transform all this unstructured data into valuable customer insights. So we can spot actually, where are my loyal customers? Where are my churning customers? What is the likelihood of their spending behavior towards the future? So this is basically in the middle, the beating heart of the Raptor platform, I would say. And on the right side, actually the creative things happen, which is driven by the marketeers within the organizations that we work with. And this is basically saying, okay, give me all the loyal customers. And now I'm going to make sure that via marketing automation, they will all receive, for example, an email showing relevant content and relevant products based on that behavior. So that's what we call the activation part of the CDP. Well, if you want to build something like a segment within the CDP, then this is just a slide to show you how easy it is to do. In this case, it's a B2B company working in food. So they deliver food to restaurants, but also to fine restaurants, but also to snack bar. As an example, so they say, give me all the people who placed an order at least 20 times in the last year in a specific category that contains beef. And give me all the customers who visited the product at least 10 times within the last 180 days in the category that contains meatballs. So let's say that we can call this group, I don't know, meat lovers as an example. Then if you build this segment, you will get a lot of insights. But what you can also do is basically make sure that these people who fit that specific segment that you just created as a marketeer, then you could easily attach that to your activation channels. And these are some of the examples like Google Ads, social media, emails. And we basically, as Raptor, we connect to all the channels like, for example, Google, YouTube, and Facebook. What happens when we have built this segment? We will see that it contains, I don't know, people who have fine wine restaurants, but we also have people who are part of the Cantina group. So completely different segments with different buying behavior, with different behavior anyway. They buy different products, they read different content. And what we can do in this case is make sure that we identify them in the CDP. You can build your own audiences. We have the Cantina on the left and we have the fish and wine restaurant on the right. And on that specific node, we can fully personalize, in this case, as an example, the website that we deliver. So on the left, you will see the before. And on the right side, you see some of the examples that we will personalize. So you can see that this specific Cantina typically buys hot dogs. So we can show related content to meat, hot dogs, chicken, beef, but we can also show product recommendations based on their order behavior. In product-wise, this would mean showing the right accessories which go along with the things that they bought before. And in this case, you have the complete flexibility on the front end to fully personalize this whole setup. Well, some specific use cases on how we can solve different scenarios as well. This is an interesting case. So what we can do in the CDP is build a segment, and based on this segment, we will get a lot of insights. And this is just an example of an insight that we are getting. Let's say that we are a B2B company selling food. We deliver that to the snack bar. We deliver that to the fine dining restaurants. And in this case, we will get all the insights up to the single customer who can be a buyer at a specific restaurant, for example, where we see that this person, this guy in this case, is both loyal and he spends a lot of money. So ideally, this is the place where you want all your customers to be. In reality, that will never happen because we will have people being in the middle. So they have potential, they have medium customer lifetime value, but you will probably also have a lot of customers who don't spend a lot of money, don't have a lot of potential, so they'll probably be churning. And what the CDP can spot is actually the behavior of your segments or your individual customers into time. So that could mean that this potential restaurant buyer who typically buys fish or hot dogs or whatever, that he goes away from being loyal and spending a lot of money to moving away from that to potential churn or already churned. So, and this could be some kind of a trigger to in B2C stating, hey, if this is me, Jaap, we miss you as a customer. We have seen that you don't order monthly in the last couple of weeks, but your buying behavior changes in a bad way for us as a company. So here's a voucher with a 10% discount because we want you back as a customer. Just a really simple example on something you can do with your own customer base if you have that data in the CDP. If you look more into a B2B context, then that could mean that this loyal customer also changed his buying behavior. So he might be churning, so probably something went wrong in either the delivery of goods or on your customer services or somewhere else in the process. And that could mean that you at that moment would inform the account owner, who could be an account manager responsible of this specific customer, to say, hey, give this customer a call to make sure that you win him back or that you at least understand why his buying behavior is changing. So it goes from B2C, sending vouchers, fully marketing automation, to basically stitching insights in the B2B context to your CRM so that the acting account manager can work on it as well. Then in B2C, we have a cool example on Hummel, which is like Nike and Adidas, so a big sports brand, where we actually show personal category recommendations, we show personal product recommendations, but we also have the ability to do merchandising on specific products. So if we look at personal recommendations and category recommendations, then we say that our smart AI, our algorithms, are basically determining what consumer gets to see, what specific content and product at any given moment, fully driven by AI, so fully automated. So basically this boosts results like conversion rate, average order value. But also as a business like Hummel, you probably have products which are new in collections, which are high on stock, which are discounted, and these products you might want to boost. So you can actually mingle personalized results together with merchandised items, as we call it, stating, hey, this is new collection. I want to show that to all men or all women in a specific segment again. On the left side, you see this woman who bought a lot. On the right side, you see this guy, two completely different people. So they all should get a completely personalized journey from our understanding. This is just an example on how it could look like. Again, as mentioned, you have the full flexibility on the front end side to show as many or less products as you want. Typically in fashion, we see a lot of push on selling products. So this is where you could also, for example, as a brand, show less products and make it more, I would say, more focusing on the brand. This is just a product page with recommendations, alternative styles, complete the look, extremely interesting algorithms that we drive a lot in the fashion segment. But also, how do we boost, for example, cross and upsell? In this case, I'm looking at this sweater. I add it to my cart. I get this power step or this push up message. And here we can show related items or others also bought, where we still are in charge in only showing products that are complementary to the head product that you already put in your basket. So here we want to avoid stress. So we don't want to show this customer who already bought a sweater, another sweater in the checkout, but we can say, hey, these socks go really well with their shoes, or this hat goes really great along with this specific sweater. And also we can add business values like margin, price, new collections, just to make sure that you are still in charge of what products you are showing to specific individuals. Same goes for an example that we created for Grohe. So these are an example of email personalization, where on the left side, we would send an email to a customer who bought a Grohe blue water system. We know he or she already bought this product, so it doesn't really make sense to show, again, blue water systems. It's not something you are going to buy on a regular basis. However, to complete your product, you need these accessories. So it makes sense to sell the product first, send an email afterwards saying, hey, what do you think about these accessories, to make sure that you can use your product in the best way possible. And all these kinds of setups can be fully personalized and also automated with our algorithms that we boost into your newsletters. A bit more advanced when we talk about email personalization based on the CDP information that we have in place. We have this case with Coolshop, a big Danish customer in the B2C space, who basically did a hyper-personal and automated email setup. And I think the strong thing about this is that this full email is highly personalized. So together with a technology company from Denmark, we were able to fully personalize the subject line within this newsletter. So it's an AI generated subject line that could fit the email, the content, but also personalized for the email receiver. Then in like every email, you always have this product text or this text in general, which what we always see happening is that it's generic, but with this technology from Alphas, we can also make sure that this part of the newsletter, so the text, is also personalized. And as a third, we added our product recommendation software to the same newsletter to make sure that as an example, Ingo will get to see different products than Aart based on their buying behavior, but based on their browsing history, based on what they've been doing on our web shop. And I think here you can see some really cool insights, like it added 75% increase in click rates. It's 55% up in the conversion rates. and the total revenue gone up by 95%. I think this is really advanced. I think just getting started with building email templates with a generic header, a generic footer, a generic text, but adding product recommendations which are personalized could already boost and automate a big chunk of your email marketing in this case. That brings me to the recap of the Raptor part of the presentation. I think maybe good to remember, it's been quite a lot of information in a short time span, I would say. But personalization doesn't really matter if it's B2C or B2B, will improve online performance metrics. And some of the things that we typically work on together with our customers, also from a ROI and business case perspective, is boosting conversion rates, boosting the average order value, revenue per visit, time spent on site. And one that's more difficult to measure is the overall user experience. But just bear with me, if you show relevant content, relevant products, you personalize my experience, that will definitely boost the user experience and therefore also the loyalty. And of course, we can work on multiple more metrics as well. That was my part of the presentation. So I will give the word back to you, Ingo.
Thank you very much, Jaap. Very impressive. In a nutshell, I think there's much more about it. So I think this is kind of an indication on how Raptor can, with its capabilities, being SaaS-based, help in hyper personalization. So the first question I have goes actually to you, Jaap, because you just finished. There's a second one and a third one then for Aart. One question was being asked in the direction of B2B. So how do you handle personalization in the B2B focus context? Can you personalization on the company and buyers level?
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I can tell a bit about that in a way that in B2B, it's extremely, it's a complex setup typically. So you have individual assortments per customer, you have individual pricings like discounts and rebates per customer. And therefore you also work together with big companies. So an example could be that Bosch Siemens is a customer of yours in a B2B context. That would also mean that if it's Bosch Siemens, that they will probably have 10 buyers who all buy different products within your organization, right? So what we want to do with the CDP is making sure that we can personalize messages on Bosch Siemens as a company, but also personalize on the buyer level, who could be Michael working at Bosch Siemens, ordering specific products at your company. And I think that the Raptor CDP has the capability to do both, which is not always a given thing in the market. So that's definitely the way we could do. So we could send personalized emails to Michael being part of this Bosch Siemens group, but we could also personalize and get data out of the group, the company, so to say.
Thank you very much, Jaap. There's one question for Aart in the direction of Quable, and I think it's a very valid one. So also maybe synchronizing with the conceptual sheet that you see here. So again, looking at it maybe at the value proposition, not so much from a pure technical view, but also from a strategic viewpoint in the sense of fields of competences that we would like to deliver jointly together to the market. So for sure, there's also a strong PIM approach. We see these questions being asked more and more, also on the trade fairs that we've been in the last years, to have specific requirements in the segment of PIM. And I think one of the questions that has been asked here right now, that I will forward to you now, really is in line with what we've been asked in the last years a lot. So how does a PIM system, especially Quable now, integrate with existing e-commerce platforms and other enterprise systems like ERP and CRM? I think it's a very valid question because Ibexa itself being an IP-first modular DXP, the question can also be very well addressed to a SaaS like Quable. So Aart.
Yeah, of course, I have to answer it from a Quable only perspective because, I think there are multiple ways to integrate this into your technical landscape. At first, our PIM has a very strong and user-friendly import and export functionalities. So assets and files can be imported into the PIM, mapped to your data model and handled with, and the same way exported. It can be done manually and automatically with cron job tabs and let it scheduling every hour or every day, however you want it. Our second approach is with the Quable App Store. We have an app store for every Quable user. And I think almost all enterprise systems are already connected there. If I talk about the common e-commerce storefronts or the ERP systems, there are already connectors developed or by Quable itself or by our partners. And yeah, in the third step, we have REST API and GraphQL API, very modern API connectors where we can have endpoints to anything and every data point and entry point in the system to get data in and data out, not only in the products or the assets, but even in the attributes and the data model itself. So we are very open to all three roads if necessary.
Thank you, Art. Staying on the field of integrations, I think also an interesting question for Jaap that in the direction of the CDP or Raptor. How does your solution integrate with ESPs like Klaviyo? I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, and if you know it, Jaap, and Salesforce Marketing Cloud, etc.
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, we identify with Raptor ourselves as a best of breed solution. So that means that we are flexible to integrate to any other solutions in any tech stack. I think Klaviyo and Salesforce Marketing Cloud are two examples of ESPs where we integrate to in a perfect way, I would say. That could mean that you would work in Klaviyo to make sure that you have the best email send outs if possible. So our CDP and our email personalization modules are easily integrated with drag and drop modules. So as an example, I'm sending out an email. I'm a fashion retailer, for example. I build my template saying, hey, it's sale. Sale is a generic message to everybody, right? I have this footer, I have this header, and I have this picture around sale. But with Raptor being integrated to Klaviyo, that could mean that I just drag and drop the Raptor personalization modules into this generic newsletter, and that would immediately and in a fully dynamic way personalize and automate the email send out, stating that if I send the email to Aart, it will show different products than it would show you, Ingo, based on behavior, favorite brands, sizes. But also that if we send the email out on Monday, you would only open it on Friday, and in the meanwhile, you would maybe browse through the website in a specific way. That still the product recommendations could change. So this integration is a main thing to look into when you are looking into CDP as well. But especially with Salesforce and Klaviyo, it's integrated really well, as with Actito and for sure Ibexa, of course.
Another question to Art, and I think it's a very valid one too. It's not a pure technical one. It's maybe a conceptual and commercial one. But since we are talking about SaaS and we are talking about focused scopes of special requirements being met, there's also the question of measurability. And I think the question is very, very valid. So how can we measure the return on investment for implementing a PIM system? And second question, what would be specific metrics that should be tracked to ensure it aligns with the business goals?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question.
And Art, we only have 1 minute left.
Yeah, I think maybe to wrap this up, I think you have, of course, measurable metrics that have some quantification. So faster time to market for on existing markets. So your products are faster from in to the market. You can open up new markets very quickly, especially with a modern e-commerce front end or with, like, let's say, marketplaces and channels, because it's very easy to generate content and translate content in the PIM. And of course, efficiency in your working teams is measurable as well. So that's a few things you can really put KPIs on and really measure the value of a PIM. And then you have, of course, the more descriptive metrics like the consistency of your brand message in all your channels. That has a long-term effect, but it's not immediately measurable. And I think enhanced customer trust via accurate product data. If your product data is correct in all the channels, it's always good for your customer trust. And that's not something that's very quantifiable, but it will help for sure, and you can make it measurable in the long run. So yeah, I would love to open up a discussion with the person who asked that question and have a meeting with him. Yeah.
So let's do that. Looking at the time,
Yeah.
Jaap, I think you have the controller. Maybe you can move to the, or I will do that to the last slide we have. So because for sure we will not be able to address all the questions. In case we can identify who asked the question, we'll get back in touch. And yeah, please feel free to contact us directly as well. So for sure, that was just a first glance in a nutshell about two SaaS specialists for PIM DAM and for personalization. So we are happy to stay in touch with you and answer questions via mail or even set up a short meeting to further discuss. Thank you very much for your attention. That was, I would say, not just a true European webinar, because there was also North America. So I would say more like an international one. And thank you for your attention. And yeah, let's stay in touch. And we're looking forward to receiving any kind of email from you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.